Hi everyone. A very good day to you. Today we'll be having another episode of our go-to-market series, powered by Growthverse. And as you know, the focus of go-to-market series is to bring top global professionals in their space to help intending new early career or even experienced professionals in tech to bring them now into non-coding part of tech. And today we have a very big personality that is making a lot of differences globally. At the moment, he currently works with Tango, and Tango is a global brand in the US, UK, Europe, everywhere, North America. Currently working with the likes of Citibank, Bank of America to improve how they manage their expenses to optimize their businesses. And these companies make billions of dollars every year. So imagine how much impact someone like this makes in volume for these kind of global brands. So that gives perspective of the experience, the dexterity of the personality we have on today. He's had over almost 2 decades of experience from the technical side, and now as a product leader at Tango, is a senior product development owner for Tango here in the UK. And it's a very huge honor to have you today, Jigar. His full name is Jigar Madlani, and it's a huge honor to have you today to share from your wealth of experience. And by the way, Jigar has been working remotely for the past decade. That is, and been managing huge successes at that level. That shows the commitment, the skill, the tenacity that has been able to show to keep him at this level for this long. So we'll be honored to have his decades of experience right here on our go-to-market series for anyone looking to transition into technical product ownership. Today, we'll be digging deeper, we'll be giving you tips and great nuggets on how to scale your career. If you're trying to just get into TPO as a non-technical person, this is the right video for you. And if you're coming from a technical angle, which is what Jigar made, this will also be a perfect video for you. So this is a perfect time to drop everything you're currently doing, or probably you're listening in your car or on transit. This is the best time to listen to this great man, and let's hear the best bits from him today. So I welcome you, Jigar Madlani. Thank you for coming on Growth Market series.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here and talking to the audience.
Thank you so much.
I'm excited, and I hope we'll be able to educate and share. I'll be able to share a lot of my experience with the owners of this video, and then we'll be able to make some good impact and provide a lot of information which will help them shape their careers into the future as well.
Yes, thank you. And like you just said, it is very important that every bit that he's sharing is actually things that he has experienced. These are not just articles online or things we see or maybe a video. These are actually experiences. This is not just a course. This is beyond a 30 minutes course or an article. This is a life experience of an excellent, successful professional in the technical product ownership space. So thank you again for choosing to come here with us. So quickly, we'll get into the first question because we don't want to waste too much time.
Yeah.
And for everybody listening, either technical or not technical, what does a technical product owner, what does he mean?
So I'm sure folks who are into the product management function, or folks who are into a product development function, which is on the software side, they know what a product owner is. Somebody who owns a specific part of the product roadmap, maybe not the entire product strategy, because that's a little bit two steps up above than a product owner, but somebody who's already managing certain aspects or feature of a product that needs to be brought into market. So those product owners who own that specific feature generally tend to go down on the level of being able to talk to squads who are in the process of developing that feature, work with them directly on the sprint-based planning, their prioritization of the elements that are included into the development of that feature, and so on and so forth. So those are the functions which generally a product owner would do. But a technical product owner goes a little bit beyond just being a part of a sprint planning, product backlog, or a prioritization schedule perspective. A technical product owner is a little bit more deeper in terms of, for this feature, which technologies are we going to use to take it to market? How are we going to implement those technologies? Are these the best technologies that we have to achieve what we want to achieve from an end goal perspective, from a feature perspective? And what are my alternate technologies available to be able to deliver this feature? And once those things are done, he or she takes part into the design aspects of the technical solution at a higher level with the solution architects, and also understand at a higher level what is going to be the rollout strategy in terms of when these technologies are used to develop the features. How are they going to be bundled together and rolled out into the production / in the market area, such that it becomes a very seamless transaction? So a technical product owner is a little bit further down in granularity than just a normal product owner. They bring a specific flavor, expertise, subject matter expertise on the technology side to the
Yeah.
entire product management team, but they are not directly involved into the coding of those features, but they know at a very good level which technologies, why they are being used, how they are being used, and what are they going to do in terms of rolling this technology out into production, such that it then works completely in tandem and easily integrated through the rest of the product framework as well. So that's what generally a technology product owner would do from a role perspective.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that's actually very, very clear and granular. For a non-technical person, how can we make it easy for them to know what this role is without, like, for a non-technical person, basically someone that is not technical at all and trying to get it? Maybe a product manager,
Right.
maybe just starting out as a product manager. How can they understand?
So from a non-technical point of view,
Yeah.
I think pretty much all the product managers or product owners at some point in time understand the features that are being used, the technologies that are being used to develop the feature. They might not get involved into how the technology decisions are being made to develop that feature and so on and so forth. But it is important in this day and age for even a normal product owner to be able to understand what is really the technology, why are they using certain things, and what is the consideration that the um, product development team is making in order to develop these features. So I'll take an example. If they are rolling out a web application, these days there's a lot of new web app and technologies that are being used now, Node.js, React.js, and so on and so forth. But the basic thing which should be known to pretty much every product owner is some of the basic stems like JavaScripting, HTML. Those are the basic stuff which they should know. And if they know these things, they're in a much better position to communicate with the UI UX product development team to understand how they are rolling out certain features, how they're rolling out or designing the homepage or the pages through which the users are going to interact from a feature perspective, and so on and so forth. So it is equally important for an existing product owner to know some of the basic things. They might not need to know well into detail about all the AWS technologies and the services that are on offer. But yes, something like AWS certified cloud practitioner, just the first level of cloud certification from AWS would be a good starting point if you are into the space where your company is using AWS technologies to roll out your product to all your consumers. So that would
Yeah.
be my recommendation to the existing product owners per se.
Yeah. I think you're going inside to some of the other questions already. And I really love that I already get to that point. But we'll get there very shortly to get very granular. So which the
Right.
next thing will actually be, why should anybody be a technical product owner? Is it, what's the flexibility? Is it a lot of money? Is it like, why should I just choose to be a technical product owner?
Good question. The first and the foremost thing that we probably all want to be answering ourselves is that why would I also want to be into a product management role to begin with? Because it for personally me, the ability to visualize, define what the strategy or a mission of the company is, and what is a vision of the company, and define a strategy. How can we achieve the mission is the reason why we get into product management aspects. And once we start going into the product management aspects to break down that strategy into achievable goals is what we start working towards into one step at a time. So why go into a technical product owner role? At this point in time, pretty much all the products that we are looking at in the industry has to have some kind of technology associated to it. Some of them are physical devices. For them, we have AI and ML based aspects into play as well. Everything is about automation these days. Everything is about making the machine learning more successful and making use of those kind of things into making our product more successful and more reachable to our consumers. And when the moment we start understanding that we need to start using these technologies, these aspects to make our product more scalable, that's where we come into play that, well, I just can't be sitting around expecting that my product is going to be reachable to X number of consumers on its own. I need to understand, how am I going to strategize the growth of my product? How am I going to be able to make sure that my product goes from X number of users to 5X number of users in a span of 6 months? And for me to be able to understand how I can make it happen, I need to understand how that can be achieved. And in order to make that happen, we need to understand the concepts behind that product. And that's where the conceptual part of a technical product owner comes into place, that let's understand what's behind the scenes of that product per se, and how can we make this more scalable enough to our consumers. What can we provide, and how can we provide to our consumers so that they can come to this platform or offering very easily. And I can do that only if I know that, yep, there's the underlying technologies that are being used, and I'm going to promote these technologies into this specific way so that I can increase the growth. So having that understanding of the technology aspect is very, very important. It is one of the very important aspects in order to define the growth rate of your product from a timeline perspective.
I think that's very, very specific, and that's very, very correct. So knowing that I want to understand the technical part of my product, which is why I'm being a technical product owner, that is my job, right? But what are the benefits to me? Does it pay higher than a product manager? Is it easier to do? At least it's less technical for me if I was a programmer before. So what are these benefits? Is it very flexible? I don't need to be in the office at all as well. Does it? Yeah. So those benefits.
I think that's a very, very good question, because just being a product owner versus being a technical product owner opens up the horizon of an individual. Now, obviously, this conversation is focused towards a technical product owner. So the audience might be thinking that I'm being biased towards technology and the product ownership. But trust me, the reason why I'm talking a lot more about technology as far as the product ownership is concerned is because then the boundaries are unlimited. You're not restricting yourself to only one specific area, that this is the kind of product ownership that I'll be able to do. But the more you understand the technology, you will be able to take that technical experience. Well, might not be coding, which is most likely not going to be coding from a product owner perspective, but to be able to visualize, this is the technology that we used in this kind of a product offering. So in future, when we get to a different product or a project or an organization where you have to take your experience and bring that kind of a growth market strategy into play, you can use these skills to make a larger impact into anywhere into your professional career as well. So the growth, in my opinion, helps you immensely once you start going into this path. And obviously, an individual's horizon and the broadness of their thinking also increases over a period of time if they have a lot more technical know-hows. Might not be fully into detail, but the know-hows of which technologies are used into the development aspects. As I said, from a development perspective, from a QA/testing perspective, and from a rollout perspective as well, which is CI/CD pipelines and so on and so forth. What technologies are being used? Having the ability to understand these things at a high level, again, not into detail, helps you grow your professional career in a much better way. So that's how I see a technical product owner making a larger impact on the individual's personal growth and the professional growth as well.
Okay, I think that makes more sense. So I'll just quickly ask you, so does it pay more than being a PM, a basic PM?
The data on on a lot of these recruitment websites say that yes, it does, but the technical product owner, because it comes with a specific subject matter expertise of technology, plays a very important role into the product management area as well. So yes, it does make an impact from the subject matter expertise point of view, and hence why the subject matter area or expertise directly translates into an extra revenue.
Okay, because I'm so sure that what our listeners would want to hear, because it's that, oh, I'm a PM, oh, I'm a programmer already, so if I move into this non-coding role, will I earn more money? So I want to believe one should, because you're not very technical and it's not very replaceable. You can't just go out the door and find another technical PO like that. So I think that should help.
It is also important for existing programmers as well to be able to visualize that if I am a programmer and I'm interested into programming, but at the same time my interest is just not solving the problem all the time and being into the weeds of programming, but I'm more of a strategic person who wants to always look at the bigger goal of the organization, then being into the technology aspect that I am into, and just not have the desire to keep into going on the coding path, I have an option to create my career into the product ownership part as well. And I have a couple of my friends who are into the same space, and some of them are into a different space as well, who started off with their careers with a pure Java/JSP page builder, and over a period of time I have seen them grow from a JSP page builder into a technical product owner role. That's because while they were a JSP builder, they understood what the end game is, and because they understood what the end game is, they're like, yeah, I probably have a lot more visualization of what the customers are looking for, and that gave them an idea that okay, I can probably try my hands on to product ownership part as well. And because coming from that technology programming background, it'll help them succeed into that role over a period of time as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm a technical person or a non-technical person, and I've decided to be a CPO. I mean a TPO, I mean a technical product owner. What are the competency models? What are the necessary skill sets that I should have? We can itemize them and make them what do I need to learn? What do I need to know? So I can judge myself if I have some of those already, and I can know the ones I need to acquire to be a very good TPO.
So, I mean, generally the range and stack of technology depends on every organization, but I know for a fact, based on my experience, that some of the basic skills of having really good at SQL, just pure SQL, is a must-have for any technical product owner, because pretty much all of the data which they will be using to make analysis of what is being used, why certain things are being used, and how it can help them go into market strategy. All those kind of information needs to be analyzed at some point in time to come to a strategic conclusion. So I'd say one minimum basic qualification everybody should have is being able to have a good SQL skills. Now, as we go along, as I said, each company uses different technologies, but I would also want to say that from a QA/validation perspective, some of the basic trainings about how technological aspects are being carried out into the QA world. So automation frameworks for QA. If the technical product owner can take up some of these courses and understand, LinkedIn has a lot of courses about technical aspects of QA starting. Automation is being used. Those are the things that a technical product owner should have, and that will help them understand a lot of those aspects. But the most important thing, which I think they should also understand, is from a deployment perspective, how does the product that the development team has developed get rolled out for their customers in the market space? And how can those features, as they are being developed, rolled out on an ongoing basis, which is the CI/CD pipeline. These days, everybody's about CI/CD. How is that going to work? So a little bit of knowledge about how those products are released, to be honest, developed. So from a little bit of SQL programming, how they are being validated/tested. So a little bit of more knowledge about the automation aspects of validation/QA, and the rolling out of those features onto production, which is a few courses on the CI/CD pipeline as well, will help them shape up their knowledge base appropriate enough to be into a technical product owner role.
Okay, yeah, perfect. And those are the hard skills, right? So
those
I'll
are
say,
the hard skills.
From your experience, what are some other soft skills you need to, at least to get to your kind of level? There must be some ways that other things you might need to learn that are not necessarily hard skills.
So that's a great point. And I've been into situations where I myself have to present a lot of data and to VP levels, SVP levels, and C levels as well at time. And I think the content of how you present this data to those different levels of individuals changes as we go through different levels as well. What you present to a VP could be very different to what you present to a C-level executive. But I'd say that for a technical product owner, being able to represent the structure and the technology behind the product in a very, very simple language to a non-technical person is one of the key attributes for any technical product owner to be successful into their role, which is, I generally try to call it as the mom test, which is, if I can write something up and let my mom read through it and make a total sense of what I wrote up into her mind, I passed my test. I take that artifact and take it to anybody else in my organization, and they can read through it and make total sense of it. That's exactly what you want. Those things might not be fully in details of, this is a AWS feature of Lambda, which I've triggered a glue job from here on, which calls this kind of an API or fires this message in the Kafka. No, that's not what you want to talk about.
Exactly.
You should have the ability to demonstrate what is the flow of your product from a technology perspective, of your feature from a technology perspective. What's the end game? What are the failure points into that process? What monitoring aspects are put into those failure points, so that anybody who's a consumer of your product can see that very well, understand what you have put into place, understand the value of these things into your product, and be able to appreciate your product enough. That's exactly what we need from a soft skills perspective.
Yeah, so I think that makes a lot of sense. Stakeholder management and ensuring that you can present information clearly. I think that's actually brilliant. And that mom test is actually like, I think that's the act everybody should learn. So quickly, because we have a number of questions left and we don't want to elongate the time, what does it take to start? What are the few things I need to do to get started? Probably in 1 minute. What does it take to start?
So I'll focus on one specific aspect from a starting perspective. To all the audience, I'd say check out the Product HQ website. It is by the name of producthq.org. It's a product management headquarters, they call it as. They have a lot of courses and online and certifications that will help you help boost your career into a lot of areas related to product management. They have a certified technical product manager course online on that website. I looked at the syllabus. It's a very detail oriented, but at the same time quite crisp from a technology aspect that will help anybody gain a good advantage of going into a technical product manager slash technical product owner role with a certification included into there. And that those courses are generally run by somebody who's already working as a technical product owner on the Microsoft side of the organization. So you can expect a lot of these things are going to have a lot of value in there. That would be my recommendation. But at the same time, start looking at some of these online courses that are available out on LinkedIn as well. That is also LinkedIn also has a lot of this good certification courses for technical product owners. That would be the starting point in my opinion.
Okay. Is there a need for some type of portfolio or something before I can apply for a job as a TPO?
So the technical product owner role is probably industry agnostic. It depends, right? I mean, you could be working into one industry, but you could easily get the experience and from that industry and try to, I'd say, transfer those skills from the one industry into a different industry as well. The one thing that's most important is being able to think strategically. And the strategical thinking is a very key attribute from a soft skills perspective for any technical product owner. So as long as an individual is able to have that kind of a thought process, and I always try to do it with myself as well. Always think about what is the end in mind. The moment when you start with what is the end in mind, you're able to always think about this is where I want to be, and these are the different paths I'll be able to go to in order to get to the end in the most efficient way, in the most fastest way. So being able to have that attribute of keeping the end in mind into your sight at all times, and as you go along, if you see that there's a little bit of deviation, how do we move from that deviation and still go and focus on the end in mind is the key attribute that a technical product owner should have.
Okay. And in your own case, where you moved from as a software engineer to become a TPO, did you have to, other than certification, did you have to, or did you just tell them, I want to be a TPO because I have a technical experience already? Like, so please hire me.
That's not true. I did work on the software engineering side for a very long time, but as I went along into my career and I started working and managing teams from a development perspective, I got to learn a lot in that role about what are we going to deliver to our customers from a product offering perspective, which means the bigger product strategy. And as I was going to understand, as I was able to and fortunate enough to understand the bigger product strategy, I was then able to convert that product strategy into various features into my squad and be able to own the development and the product deliverable of that squad for a longer period of time. So obviously, from my point of view, I can say that, because I come from a technical background and I was I was heading the developmental team, it gave me a lot of help to be able to understand what lies underneath the hood from a technology perspective. And since I was able to see the product strategy from a high level as well, it helped me understand that very well. So that's my experience and background around this.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So quickly as well, what does your day-to-day look like? What do you do on an average day? What do you do?
So as I said, we generally, in my current organization, we define our roadmap for 2 quarters ahead in line. So we are in quarter 2 right now, and I know what my team and my squad is going to deliver in quarter 2 as well as quarter 3. So we know what we are delivering here. Obviously, some of them are defined projects. Some of them sometimes pop up in the middle of a quarter because of some various business reasons. Pretty much business drivers can be different at all times. But from a day-to-day perspective, I would say that once we know what our deliverables are for each quarter, we break them down into X number of features being developed into 1 quarter. Here's our rollout strategy from a monthly rollout perspective. So we are going to define and divide these features into achievable targets in month, which means 2 sprints. And that's what I generally try and do, is that if these are the work elements that we have to define and deliver in 2 sprints, which is in a month, let's try to put those stories behind it, create backlog items appropriately enough such that they link with each other from a quarterly rollout perspective, and be able to start those sprints and their backlog items appropriately by assigning resources around that as well. So I'd say monitoring, well, owning the sprint backlog, prioritizing the sprint backlog, owning it in such a way that they are integrated with each other from a final deliverable of a quarterly release perspective, and be able to take appropriate feedback at the end of each sprint and transform it into an actionable item, is what my day-to-day generally looks like.
Okay. So and that's very, very high level and very strategic as well. Okay. So quickly then, so if that's how every day looks like, so what do you think is one thing or two things that you do very well that makes you different and that has helped you to grow to this point?
One thing which I have always done successfully, and I still get a lot of accolades for it, is crisp, clear communication across all stakeholders in terms of what did we achieve in a sprint or in a monthly sprint, what are we planning to achieve in the upcoming sprint or a monthly release. That makes it so much clearer for everyone at all levels, right from the development of the team all the way to the C levels and the board members, to understand what this squad is doing and how does it tie back into the overall product strategy and growth market as well, which is a very key aspect of being successful and delivering to the expected results. So that is a key part which I do on a daily basis. I get a lot of accolades for it, but yes, we got to understand what we are delivering. We got to take not only from a, I'd say, higher level communication perspective, but over the lower level communication as well. I got to talk to my engineers almost on a daily basis to understand, here's what we are intending to do. Let's have a quick 15-minute stand-up every single day. Let's see, are you stuck up with anything? If you're stuck up with anything, how can I help you to unblock? And we find ways to unblock engineers so that we deliver what we are expected to, and that is the key for us to be successful. So again, communication downstream and communication upstream is the key part, which is going to help anybody be successful into this role.
Okay, thank you so much. I think that's quite important at this level. And quickly then to say, if I'm starting out as I'm an engineer, about 3 years experience, or even I'm a product manager, but I love technical product management, but I just want to take it to the next level. What are the things I should be doing from now that can prepare me to become a technical product owner and a global one as that? So not just a low budget technical PO, I mean, to get me to that global standard. What are those things I should be doing right now? What are those I should be learning? What are those projects I should be working on right now?
So as I said before as well, get some of these certifications ready, because they are really, really helpful. They have a good content in there. And again, for technical people who know that I want to be into the technical side, but don't want to go into coding.
Yeah.
But if they start developing the habit of looking into things strategically, not only from a coding perspective in terms of what concept am I going to use to solve this problem? Am I going to use this technology to solve this problem? Think from a bigger logic perspective. Why am I solving the problem? Once that individual starts understanding why is the problem being solved and what is the value of this problem being solved, that's how you start developing your strategical thinking process. You can use the technology experience that an individual has in order to come to that conclusion, and how it helps into defining that. That's what is going to help them go into the road side of the technical product owner. That's what they should be doing on a day-to-day basis, because that helps them shape their future. For folks who are into the product management role, which strategy perspective, because obviously they are into the product owner role and they work with their product managers and their superiors and so on and so forth, so they know the overall strategy. But to be able to understand how they are going to be able to roll out this feature, integrate it into the product, and make it more easily accessible to their users, and how they can make use of the technology to make it happen, is what they should start looking at, because that's going to help them go into this role from a go forward perspective as well. So these
Yeah.
two things combined, for product owners as well as for programmers who wants to be technical product owners, are very key in making it happen.
Yeah, that's very, 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 very important. And I like the way you actually separated it for if you're a technical person and if you're a PM. I think those are very, very important things. And then, so if you're trying to recruit a TPO, a technical product owner right now, what will we be looking for? What will we be looking for in a person? What are the maybe top 3 things you'll be looking for?
It's a good question, and I think I've touched based on these skill sets in the previous parts of the conversation, anyways. But I'll still say it again. I'd like to look at someone who understands, who has the ability to look into why certain things are being done, why they are doing what they are doing. So that kind of a mindset is that I'm just not going to sit down here and follow that, okay, this is what we are doing, so let's start working towards this, work with the development teams, start like planning the sprints and so on and so forth. Just not that, but have a good understanding, thorough understanding, ask questions about, well, okay, fair enough, we are delivering this, but why? What's the value? I always try to think in terms of, we are delivering this product, what's the return of investment? How many customers are we going to get in to with this product? What's their usability? How is this going to translate into revenue growth? How is this going to make life easy for the customers who are going to use this product? Those are the elements that I generally try to look for an individual who comes as a part of my team. That's the normal business acumen that I would start looking into. The visualization of these things. And obviously a little bit of know-how of technology as well. It is important into certain aspects, especially into the role that I am into, to have a little bit of know-how of technology. Not too concerned about, yeah, you should know how to write a glue catalog database using Terraform script or something like that. That's way too technical. We don't want that to happen. We want somebody who has a little bit of a know-how. Okay, fair enough. We are going to use this technology. How is this going to be beneficial? And make a good decision of, these are the technologies available to create this feature, a technology comparison chart with the pros and cons, and a recommendation of, here's why we should go with this approach versus here's why we shouldn't go with this approach. So the combination of these two skills would make a good technical product on my team, if I had to bring it that way on my team today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jigar. I think I will be asking this as a final question, and it's because it's very important that people that are non-technical at all, and they're like maybe a project manager, so they work with strategy, they work with agile methodology, organizing things, making things very fast.
Right.
What are the things that they should drop while they are coming into this space, and what are the things that they should take along? Some mindset changes that they need, and some mindset they need to drop. So basically, things to drop, things to pick up while coming as a TPO from your experience.
So one thing which I would recommend for existing project managers to come into a product manager kind of a role is that there's a big difference between a project and a product. You can cut down your project into various tasks, and every project can be different as well, because it has a defined goal, and there's a starting to a project and an end to a project. For a product, the end is limitless. So you got to start thinking from product perspective in terms of, if this is what I'm going to develop, why am I developing this? How does it align with the vision and mission of the organization? Be able to think on those terms. How is the product strategy going to help us grow to generate more revenue? And how is this going to make life easier for the consumer of the products. That's what a existing project manager should start thinking on those lines to be able to convert himself or herself into a product manager kind of a role. So those are the things that that they should be able to try and gain, and also not just think about what their specific area of the project lies, because generally projects can be independent of each other as well, but also at the same time they have their own timelines. But on a product side, you don't only look at your feature, but how is your feature integrated with the rest of the product as well. So
Mhm.
create that vision of integrated set of features that drive the entire product, the strategy, and how it helps make impact to the consumers into their day-to-day life, and also make an impact to the organization from a growth and revenue building market
Perspective.
perspective. That's what kind of thought process is required to make this change.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jigar Madlani. I think this has been very, very clear. I think even I'm not a technical PO, but I think
Right.
I actually understand even what to do if I want to move into that space right now. Like being
Well,
very
you can apply for
strategic.
it. We can have a conversation about it.
Really, because I think it's actually very important that some very salient things, as much as just clarity, can be
Right.
important in this kind of role. Because by definition, it says technical product owner. So
Right.
I expect everything to be very, very technical. Oh, this, oh, that. Well, I think, like you mentioned, one of the major things that will actually take you from being a normal TPO to being a global TPO is clarity. Being able
Right.
to manage downward, being able to manage upwards, being able to
Yes.
ensure that you're seeing how use of some technologies will affect the bottom line of the business, affect the
Yes.
bottom line of revenue, of
Right.
even the users. For example, like what you do, right, which is what you currently do, like without switching technology or optimizing technologies actually saves billions in dollars for top
Yes.
companies like Bank of America and Citibank that you work with and the rest.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And to everyone watching and listening, this actually just tells you how much impact roles that we don't actually put a lot of focus on actually make to our daily lives. Before we started this video, we're talking about how what we're currently using, the technology we're currently using, the telecommunications network we're using right now,
Yeah.
how people like Jiga has helped them to boost their revenue, to help to ensure that they are optimizing to the best. And these global companies that use all these technologies, including Zoom or any technologies that we're
Yeah.
currently using, they leverage this understanding of Jiga and people like him to make the best decisions, as those decisions affect all of us that we're using or what doing a meeting, doing a call, even doing an online course every day. So I think it's just like it sells itself, right? Being a
Yes.
technical PO is beyond just knowing technical things. It helps people's lives, and also you also earn a lot of money, and you
Yes.
can also work remotely, like Jiga has been doing for the last decade. I started
Yeah.
working remote probably like 3 years ago or something. So I think it's an extreme place people need to start looking at being a technical PO. And one huge benefit you have by watching this video or sharing to your friend is we'll add Jiga's LinkedIn to the video description, so you can reach out to him, but try to make it a public one. So don't send him 100 DMs. He doesn't have the time really. So I would say you can tag him on questions or come to the our Twitter community, which you can really access Jiga, and you can ask him questions about taking it a step further and becoming a TPO. He's been there, he's done it. So this is a very huge opportunity to learn from some of his experience. And thank you so much for the time. Thank you for the nuggets. I'm keeping some of those nuggets right here in my left hand and keeping in my pockets so that when I'm ready to
Absolutely.
become a TPO, I know what to do. Thank you
I'm
so
glad.
much, Jigar.
I'm glad. Thank you for the opportunity to let me speak to your audience. I had a good time talking with you, and I hope that this conversation is going to be helpful for your audience. And yes, if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll do my best to answer them in the best possible way and as soon as I can.
Thank you so much, Jigar. Thank you.
Right.
And so, everyone, this will be the end of today's session. You can go to our YouTube channel or go to our on Twitter and actually see the other episode we've released on different other roles or in non-coding part of tech. Tech is wider than everybody think. It's not just about writing programs. There's a lot of opportunities. So this is our mission, to generate more talent into the industry and let more people get into tech without necessarily having the fear of having to write code. As a programmer once, I made the switch, and I'm proud I didn't. I made the switch. So thank you everyone for joining us on this session.
Thank
Catch
you,
you guys
everyone.
in the next one.
All
Thank
right.
you, Jigar.
Good luck, everyone.
Thank
Okay.
you.